What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta be real with you guys. Activision is absolutely crapping themselves at this very moment. I'm gonna be real, I feel like a lot can't really intimidate Call of Duty when it comes to their overall franchise. But with the Battlefield 6 BR being pushed up literally less than a month after launch, basically a couple of weeks after launch, yeah, let me tell you guys something. I definitely think that Activision is feeling a little bit of intensity now from the overall community. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, before we dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We pretty much cover any FPS or even third-person shooter that sparks my interest, so subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, gonna link that channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so I saw a tweet by the Ghost of Hope, and I think he put it together perfectly here. COD is going to need to do some pretty big surprises at COD Next at this point. Battlefield releasing a month before is one thing, but having their free-to-play BR out there just weeks later is a pretty big reason to be worried if I'm Activision. And he's absolutely preaching, and I agree. I don't think there's much worry with Activision when it comes to their multiplayer experience. Yes, there's going to be competition in the scene, which is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, even if you go to the PlayStation pre-orders right now, Battlefield is still mopping the floor with Black Ops 7 when it comes to the pre-order numbers. So, Battlefield is doing very well. But at the end of the day, they're two completely different experiences. Players who want to play something like Call of Duty, yeah, they might branch out and try Battlefield 6 and give it a shot. But am I confident they will stay? No, not even in the slightest, okay? I've tried to get people who enjoy Call of Duty a ton to try out different games for years now, especially the Battlefield franchise. And once they go over to there, it's a running simulator. Now, of course, Battlefield 6 is a little bit of a different story, and I think it's a very smooth, fluent game, and I'm stupidly excited for it. But I still think my point stands that they might hop over and play a little Battlefield 6 for, some time, especially since it's going to launch before Black Ops 7. But once Black Ops 7 comes on through, a lot of players are going to ditch Battlefield 6. Not the, Battlefield fans, but if they're true COD fans, they're going to want to play a 6v6 arcade shooter. It's just the reality of things. They're not going to stick around. So for Activision, I don't think it's too big of a threat to see Battlefield 6 launching here. That's why I keep saying over and over and over again that they need to bring back Medal of Honor. I understand they want to bring some competition to the scene with Battlefield, and that's great and all. But boy, oh boy, the best competition for Call of Duty will be for EA to go ahead and relaunch Medal of Honor, modernize it to make sure it's actually, fit for modern day standards of an FPS shooter, PvP style of game, and push with that heavy. That would be a true Call of Duty competitor. And if they can make that pop off, I could see Activision getting a tad bit worried about their multiplayer experience and also their campaign experience. But until that day comes, I think people will honestly purchase both. And if they prefer Call of Duty, they're going to end up playing Black Ops 7 more when, it eventually comes on out. But the BR experience for Battlefield 6 here, that's a different story, right? That almost completely mimics Warzone in every way, shape, and form. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people come out and say the gameplay looks almost identical to Warzone, but it just has so much more oomph to it. It has vehicle gameplay. It has overall destruction of the frickin' map. It just seems like a more fun, in-depth, unique version of Warzone. And this is, coming during a time where Warzone is absolutely getting demolished. I haven't seen the Warzone community happy in a very freaking long time. Seriously, it seems like the community just has been kind of in a blender right now, and Activision has no clue what direction they want to push when it comes to Warzone. And now having a brand new Battle Royale experience that resembles Warzone, that, players can probably hop into and still enjoy it because it's not drastically different like Apex Legends or Fortnite, where the learning curve is going to be drastically different compared to Warzone. No, I mean, if you hop on Warzone and hop on Battlefield 6 Battle Royale, they probably play similar enough that you can still enjoy the overall experience and transfer your skills over to one another. I think that this is going to be the point where Activision is going to have to start stepping up their game. I don't know what the heck they're going to do. And honestly, if you want to hear my opinion, I think at some point in time, they're going to end up ditching the big, Battle Royale experience, and they're going to really double down on Resurgence. I've always said it before, but I think Resurgence is exactly what Call of Duty should have pushed with when it came to Battle Royale, because it fits the Call of Duty mentality. It's what Call of Duty is all about. Fast-paced, nonstop action, in your face, so on and so forth. And that's what Resurgence is. Yeah, you could do that in the big Warzone experience, but Resurgence with the respawns, smaller maps, kind of fits that narrative a bit more. So I personally think they're going to push with that direction at some point in time down the road, especially if the Battlefield 6 BR truly pops off. But the point being made here is that they're in the crapper. They are absolutely in the crapper, and they finally are getting checkmated by EA. I'm sure EA has been waiting for this moment for a long time. They've probably been plotting this one because it's always been competition to try to gain the popularity that Call of Duty has always had. And it seems like EA actually has a golden game that could potentially bring that popularity to them and strip a lot of that success from Warzone and bring it over to their BR experience. And let's not forget who's leading the charge here, ladies and gentlemen, Vince Zampella. This dude has absolutely 0 L's under his belt, and the last Battle Royale experience he put together was an absolute massive success with literally 0 marketing. I want you guys to keep that in mind. 0 marketing. Apex Legends went from nothing to absolutely one of the top best Battle Royale experiences in the scene overnight. Okay? I just want everybody to understand the potential that Vince Zampella has when it comes to putting together games. He just simply does not miss. So here we are with Battlefield 6 BR, and they have one of the top dogs, behind the scenes, kind of viewing over all the aspects of this game to make sure everything is smooth and good to go. His reputation is on the line here. I don't think he's going to mess around, and I'm pretty positive that EA, along with Battlefield 6 BR, is going to come into the scene with an absolute bang, which, as I stated before, is going to make Activision quite nervous. Now, I did see a response to this post by Revived Gamer HD, and he said, besides a release date move up, what could they really even announce? Warzone, I just don't think anyone gives a crap about, and I don't even know what they could do to make people start giving a crap. And the Ghost of Hope said, disbanding lobbies gone, an actual real look at post-launch plans with skins, actual commitments to anything, and talking transparently about what has gone wrong. And I gotta be with you guys, I think he is absolutely wrong in this statement here. I gotta be real, I think he's absolutely wrong. That should not be the amount that Activision has to put out in order to gain trust back from the community. But the sad reality is that is enough to gain the trust back of the overall community. I've actually seen the Ghost of Hope say this a little while ago, saying that people should purchase BO7 because you should be buying the games that are more heavily supported. Stuff like Modern Warfare 3, BO7, where the content is plentiful, tons of updates, the developers actually care, so on and so forth. He's saying you should support that stuff. I gotta be real, I am on the opposite end of that debate. I don't think you should support that whatsoever. Yes, I used to have that mentality. I used to think the same exact way. Support the games that they actually show love to. But Activision has proven time and time again that that's not the logic that they follow. They don't care if you're going to support this game. These, I'm going to call them DLC games. Games like Vanguard, Modern Warfare 3, and also Black Ops 7 here, where, the hype isn't as big, but they're stuffed with content, and that's their selling factor. Games like this are to, again, get the trust back from the people like the Ghost of Hope and the overall community, make them think they care, and then guess what's going to happen the year after and the year after that? They're going to go right back to their original content plans. They finesse over the communities with the games that are stuffed with content. They make people think, and this is including myself too. I want everybody to understand this. I'm not just saying this from an outside perspective looking in and calling people out. No, I'm saying this as someone who has fallen for this crap plenty of times. Modern Warfare 3 got me big. Going into BO6, I could have sworn BO6 was going to follow the same content pattern as Modern Warfare 3. I genuinely thought that they were going to switch over, and nothing happened. Okay, so I got finessed just as much as anybody else here. But that is the reality of this, ladies and gentlemen. They don't care. Okay? They just simply don't. The whole reason they do stuff like this is to get people to trust the game again, trust the franchise. And then once they rope people back in, they do whatever the heck they want again. And they do it again and again and again until the community is tired and they're getting stressed out again and they want to fight back. And then when the community's ready to fight back, Activision says, oh, it's okay, guys. It's all right. We're going to do this, this, and that. We're going to go ahead and give you tons of content. And the community calms down a bit and they say, oh, look, Activision is finally listening again. About time. And then guess what happens after that game? We go right back to the same crappy rotation. I don't think anything Activision says, unless it's removing skill-based matchmaking from Black Ops 7 or toning down skill-based matchmaking from Black Ops 7, I don't believe any of this should be listened to. They even discussed disbanding lobbies in the past. Was it Cold War they discussed this with? And guess what? It never happened, okay? This is the problem with the Call of Duty community. This is the exact problem. We fall for this garbage every single time. We think Activision is going to actually do something for us, and then they turn their back to us, and we all forget. No, not this time around. I highly suggest people be very cautious about what Activision is going to do this year, because they are going to show some desperation. They are. There's a lot of competition coming on out, not just Battlefield 6 and not just the Battlefield 6 BR, but we got GTA 6 coming on through. You know, we have Arc Raiders, which I know a lot of people are going to say it's not really that popping, but trust me, Arc Raiders, when it drops, is going to gain a lot of traction. There are so many games to play. The Finals, which is completely free to play for anybody to go ahead and enjoy. There's competition in the scene. Activision knows this. They're going to show some desperation. And they're going to try everything in their power to get people to want to stick with Call of Duty over transferring to other games. But the real question is, will this last? Because I guarantee, once the competition calms down and FPS games aren't as popping anymore, they're going to come back into the scene as nasty as ever, doing the most disgusting practices just like they typically always do. I can guarantee that. So my mentality is, screw them. Give it a few years. See if these people are willing to actually make meaningful change and not just make change because competition is stepping up. Because if that's the only reason they're making change, then guess what? It's not going to last, and it's not going to be something that the community is going to benefit from whatsoever. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget subscribing at that bell post here twice, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and also a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything between COD, Battlefield, Splitgate 2, Arc Raiders, Gears of War. I've been discussing the finals a little bit more. Tons of different games I want to talk about on this channel. So, of course, subscribing at that bell so you stay notified on everything that goes live. And last but not least, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And I try to go ahead and stream as much variety as possible. So if you're interested in any variety content when it comes to FPS games or even third-person shooter games, by all means, you can find a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.